In the Cars Ireland garage this week is the Mercedes-Benz C-Class Coupé, a more expensive and less practical version of the C-Class saloon. But why would anybody choose that? Well, because it looks like this. The entire C-Class range has been given a facelift for 2019, which includes some new lights and bumpers, more chrome and some extra colour and wheel choices. This AMG line model also gets this fancy new diamond grille. As we've established, most people will be buying it for how it looks rather than its practicalities, but we'll go through the motions nonetheless. The boot on this C200 model measures in at 360 litres, which is less than a Volkswagen Golf and not half as practical because of this very narrow opening. But look, you will get some stuff in there, and it does come with a few thoughtful touches like a shopping bag hook and seats that fold flat at the pull of a lever. When you pop them back up and manage to clamber into the back, again, this is a two-door coupe, so it shouldn't be any big surprise that it's not very spacious back here. In fact, if you've got anyone tall in the front, then forget about it. Legroom practically disappears. Headroom is also tight thanks to that gorgeous sloping roofline. But one thing I do like about back here is that your backseat passengers are treated to a miniature version of the fancy air vents in the front. Those are usually just an afterthought back here. So that's a very classy touch, Mercedes. It's also extremely classy in the front, and the interior has also been given a makeover. You've got some new open pore black ash trim and an improved infotainment system. So the screen's a bit bigger and the placement is much better, although it still doesn't get the impressive new system that's available in the new Mercedes A-Class, and still has quite a long way to go in terms of matching the graphics of BMW's iDrive or Audi's MMI infotainment system. Still though, it is slightly better than what's on offer in the Lexus RC, although that's not exactly difficult. It also now comes with the option of a fully digital instrument cluster, which should improve this display considerably, but this one doesn't have it. What it does have are some very comfortable seats, and sitting into the C-Class Coupé is a completely different experience than sitting into the saloon. You sit much lower for a start, and these seats have actually been especially designed for it. And they're electrically adjustable so that you can fine-tune your driving position. Other nice comfort features include a leather multifunction steering wheel and heated leather seats. I really like where they put the controls for those heated seats actually, and the whole wraparound effect of the cabin in general. It makes it feel really sporty but still very luxurious. Standard equipment is quite generous, and you get sat-nav and a reversing camera on this. I was going to say touchscreen, but it's not actually a touchscreen. But that is standard on the entry-level model, as are 17-inch alloy wheels and full LED head and taillights. You can upgrade to this AMG line model for some even sportier styling, including 18-inch wheels, an AMG line body kit, that fancy bespoke grille and stiffened sports suspension. This is the 1.5 litre turbocharged C200 petrol, which has been fitted with EQ Boost, a mild hybrid system similar to what Audi are putting into their newer models. So essentially, it's a small battery that will draw and store power from things like braking and then use that to power the car in certain circumstances, ultimately improving the fuel economy. But at the end of the day, it still is a 183 brake horsepower 1.5 litre petrol engine, and so that fuel economy is still going to be determined very much on how and where you drive it. And for those who do heavy mileage, a diesel is still going to be the much more obvious choice. The claimed fuel economy for this model is between 6 and 6.5 litres per 100 kilometres, but my trip computer seems to disagree. It is still a very interesting alternative for those who don't do high miles, and it is lovely to drive. It's made it to a 9-speed auto, naturally enough. There's a lovely constant flow of power, and that weight loss in the back combined with the lower driving position and of course the rear wheel drive does give it a very sporty feel. The steering could probably do with a little bit more feel, but you can weight that up by selecting dynamic on the drive mode select. Aside from that, the very well planted chassis does make for good fun going around corners. Now it might be a very relaxed, subdued sort of fun, but it is fun nonetheless. As for the very predictable bad news, you've probably already guessed that it doesn't come cheap. Prices start at €38,500, but that's for the entry-level 180 manual. This 200 auto in the AMG line trim comes in at closer to 48,000. Still though, it's stunning to look at, fun to drive and classy as hell. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Like and share if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe and join me back here next week where I'll be reviewing one of those fancy cars that you have to plug in. Till then.